if you could tell me, what do you like the most about night photography?
Well, night photography is what got me actually into photography. It's about 20 years ago. I just stumbled across a website dedicated to night photography. I saw what people were doing with colored gels and old buildings and storms, and I sort of kind of love at first sight. And I said, I want to do that. I want to figure out how to do that. It just looks really creative and fun. And so that's what got me into it. Started with film and then moved into digital. But one thing I really love about night photography versus say shooting in the daytime is when you shoot in the day, pretty much what you see is what you get. At night, there's so many more things you can do because the camera sees things that your eyes can't. And so it just opens up a world of just really interesting creative possibilities and kind of create this magical or capture this sort of magical world at night that often your eyes don't even see. So it's just a really fun, creative thing. Part of it is just, when you go out to shoot at night, sometimes you really don't know what you're going to get until you actually take the picture. And all of a sudden you're seeing lights and colors that you're like, I don't even see this with my eyes, but yet here it is in front of me. And it's a creative aspect with light painting and just different lighting effects and it's just a very different creative process. And there's really no limits to it except for, your imagination.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I like that. So, for all that magic to happen, what is the setup or the process you follow for that kind of photography?
Sure. So there's a couple things you need. One is a camera capable of taking long exposures, where the shutter is open for seconds or even minutes at a time. And most modern DSLRs can do that. Even some of the point and shoots can do that. And then phones now even are starting to be able to do that. And you need a tripod. You need something sturdy to mount the camera to because you're not going to be able to hand hold your camera with the shutter open that long and get a sharp picture. So camera and tripod are the two basic essentials. And then from there, it's just some different settings. So, during the day, you're dealing with usually pretty fast shutter speeds, fractions of a second, where at night, you want to open up that shutter a lot longer. Often you have to use a wide aperture to allow more light in. So you need stability and really it's all about just having that shutter open for long periods of time to gather the available light and get something that's not just completely dark. Okay, yeah, I like shooting the Milky Way stars. Recently, I shot the comet that came through a few months ago. So I'd like to shoot with a wide-angle lens to capture more of the sky. And typically, if I'm shooting the stars of the Milky Way, I'm using a really high ISO, so the sensor is very sensitive to the small amount of light that's there, and leaving the shutter open for about 30 seconds. And with the wide aperture, usually shooting at 2.8. So really long exposure to gather all that starlight. And then, anything, if there's a meteor that flies through the scene during that time, you capture that. But my go-to settings for, say, capturing the Milky Way is, of course, being in a place where you can actually see it, which is kind of hard to do here around town. But about a 30-second exposure, usually ISO 1600 or 3200, and shooting kind of as wide as I can, usually with a 16 millimeter lens to capture more of the sky.
Okay, awesome. I guess I have something to try during these holidays later. Yeah.
Yeah, if you can get out to the country, I've tried around San Marcos. It's kind of hard to see the stars sometimes in town, but if you can get out of town where you can see the sky, it's nice.
Okay, well, thank you so much for this.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.